So today I am talking with Mr. Rippon. Mr. Rippon, tell me about yourself.
About myself. Well, born and raised in Southern California, moved to Arizona when I was about 26, and I absolutely love it here. I'm still close enough to the beach that I can hop in my car and go surfing on the weekends, but far enough away that I don't have to deal with that Southern California attitude. I retired about a year and a half ago from Arizona State University. I had been there for just over 30 years. And during that time, I did mostly administrative work. When I was working on my graduate degree in English literature and rhetoric, I taught some first-year composition. I taught some intro to literature, intro to poetry, and those kinds of things. But as I finished my graduate work, I moved more into administrative positions. So most of my 30-plus years at Arizona State University were, overseeing student success programs. For a while, I was the assistant dean for admissions at ASU. My last 8 or 9 years at ASU, I was the assistant dean for student services at the Ira Fulton Schools of Engineering. So I bring a whole bunch of university experience to share with my students here at Paragon. I took an early retirement. I was fully vested, just really wanted to change and get back to what I really loved, which was working with young minds, shaping their minds and their attitudes and the way they view life. And so after I retired, I came and talked with Mr. Salim here, and he was kind enough to invite me into the classroom. So here I am.
Awesome, awesome. What inspired you to go into literature?
Oh, a lot of people who are in literature say it was my high school teacher. So it was that for me. Mr. Watson, we just had a reunion a few months ago, and Mr. Watson was there. It was fun to meet with him. But Mr. Watson taught me English literature in 3 of my 4 years of high school. And he is just such a wonderful, compassionate, in-touch man. And he shared that with us through some of the great works, whether it's, Mark Twain or Shakespeare. He shared the kind of the meaning of life and how to live life through the great works. And I loved that. And when I decided to go into English as a major, my dad questioned it and wondered how I was going to succeed in life. And I figured that if I did what I loved, that eventually things would work out for me. And I've had a pretty good life with it.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's say I'm a freshman and a brand new student in your class. Mm-hmm. How do you make things fun and engaging for me to learn?
Okay, so you can look around and you can see in my classroom that I have my desks set up in pods. So students work together in pods, and what I really like to do with the class is I like to make the students the experts in the material. Granted, I need to know the material in order to do that, but I empower the students, so it's a very student-led classroom. If we're working on, say, Death of a Salesman, as we are right now with my 12th grade, Death of a Salesman, lots of symbols. So I'll have the students work in groups of 4, coming up with ideas about what some of the symbols are. That night they go home and they study those symbols, they look them up, they go into scholarly journals and get information and bring it back to the class the next day. And then in their group of 4, they talk about how that group is going to present the material that they learned the night before doing their research to the rest of the class. So they become the experts. They're the ones who get up in front of the class and they teach the class what it was that they learned the night before through their own hard work. Awesome.
Okay. Well, how do you get an A in your class?
Really, it's about being prepared. If a student shows up, that does a lot. And by show up, I mean, not just sitting in the seat, but showing up means, participating in class, talking with your fellow student about the material, making sure that you're engaged. So showing up and being engaged in that way is the start of getting to that A. Doing the work. I mean, you have to go home, you have to do the homework, you have to be prepared. So whether it's something that is written and assigned and you have to turn it in, obviously that's got to get done. But if it's, X number of pages that have to get read, you have to have them read or you're going to be lost the next day. And I think for students, if they show up, if they're engaged, if they participate, and if they do the work that they need to do at home, the rest of it really falls in place, that they know what they need to know in order to get that A.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Mr. Rippon, thank you so much for all that you do.
Oh, thanks for being here. This is great.